Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and welcome back to the channel. We are now week 2 of the NFL season, and hopefully you guys finished off in week 1 as a winner, had some success, and obviously ready to jump into week 2. And we are talking start and sits for the quarterback position, so let's jump right into it. All right, so before we begin, again, this is the start and sit for the quarterback position. Week 2, we've got a great game Thursday night. We've got obviously a slate of games on Sunday and then 2 Monday night games, so be prepared for that. And of course, if you do have questions for players you might need to pick up due to injury or anything like that, hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to help you out. So let me mention a couple standouts. Obviously, you had Justin Fields, who had an amazing week. With 2 rushing touchdowns. He obviously is one of those guys that kind of emerged out of nowhere. No one had any really expectations for him. You had Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns, which was ridiculous. The old man definitely proved something last week. And then, of course, you had Justin Herbert and Josh Allen, who were top tier. And really, Josh Allen overall was QB1. He had an outstanding game bringing back the Buffalo Bills against the Ravens. So with that said, there were some disappointments. You had Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix, like some guys that I was actually pretty high on. I felt all 3 should have been some starts. Unfortunately, did not do well. And you had some quarterbacks who had some good performances. So let's break this down on each game. So the first game is going to be the Thursday night game. So as you can see here, Jayden Daniels is obviously a start, and you're going to put Jordan Love as a start. Really not a whole lot to really deep dive into this. Yes, the Packers defense obviously looked amazing against Detroit. There, I think, are some bigger issues in Detroit, so I'm not overblowing the Packers defense yet. I do think they are good, but I wouldn't say outstanding yet. Detroit has some issues and bugs to figure out, especially with a whole new offensive scheme. There's a lot going on with that. So, again, I still will absolutely put Jayden Daniels as a start. There's no reason to sit him. His rushing ability, again, getting that rapport back with Terry McLaurin, who had missed some time. I really like that one. And then, of course, I do like Jordan Love. He's spreading the ball around. There is no premier wide receiver for them that is the outstanding alpha wide receiver, at least not yet, but he is spreading the ball. He's getting the ball to his tight end and Kraft. He's getting it to Reed. He's getting it to Dobbs. He's getting it, to whoever is open. He's not forcing anything, which is really good. So I really love both of these quarterbacks for Thursday night. So make sure you guys are putting them in your lineup. Now jumping into the Sunday games, first matchup, I've got the Seahawks versus the Steelers. Sam Darnold is sit, right? At this point, sit him. We want to see a little bit more out of him. He did not perform well. I know there's a lot of people like, oh, he doesn't have, Kevin O'Connell. Look, let's just give him some time, but he is not going to be a start this week. Now, Aaron Rodgers, though, against the Seattle Seahawks, I actually like him. He's got some high upside. Again, he did really well week 1. He proved a lot, and the Seahawks defense is amazing. So Aaron Rodgers should be able to feed off of that defense, get a couple touchdowns here or there, and again, get you the nice low-end QB1 out of week 2. Next matchup is going to be the Patriots versus the Dolphins. I actually am going to have Drake Maye as a start. Right now, the way the Dolphins are playing, I mean, they made Danny Dimes look amazing. And I think Drake Maye could actually end up having a really, really solid game, whether it be through the air or, of course, on the ground. He has that ability. Right now, Tua will be a sit. I had him as a possible start last week. I thought, man, this is going to be a good matchup against the Colts. I was completely wrong, and I'm not going to make that mistake. He had 114 yards. He struggled. He had multiple turnovers. He just did not look right, didn't look comfortable. That whole offense looks, it's scary what's going on in Miami. I will absolutely sit him. Jumping into the Jaguars versus the Bengals, Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to sit. I had high hopes against the Falcons. Falcons defense struggled. Trevor Lawrence did not play as well as I thought he was going to, which was kind of disappointing. They did get the win, which for them, that's all that matters, but very underwhelming. He did not have a great week. Joe Burrow, again, yes, had a bad week. He flopped, but I'm not going to sit him. You can't sit Joe Burrow. I do expect him obviously turn it around, have a better game. I mean, I know anybody who had Burrow or Chase definitely were screaming and yelling at their TV because those are guys you drafted pretty high, had high expectations. They did not perform well. Going into the Bills and Jets, pretty simple. Both quarterbacks I'm going to start. Obviously, Josh Allen is a must start every single week. I don't need to go into detail with him. Now, Justin Fields, I actually like this one a lot. He's got high upside. His rushing ability, of course, is always going to be a factor. The Buffalo Bills allowed a lot of points They allowed Lamar Jackson to do his thing. Justin Fields obviously is not nowhere near Lamar Jackson level, but he has that rushing ability, which will only help him out just to get out of there. And I really like this matchup. I do see this in, obviously, the Buffalo being a blowout. Yes, the Jets put up a lot of points, don't get me wrong, which is exciting to see. You know, I'm not a Jets fan at all, but it's exciting to see teams that are underwhelming every single year have some hope, and it's exciting to stuff. Especially, I love the parity of the NFL. I love that's what makes it so great. Jumping into the Rams and Titans, Matthew Stafford and Cam Ward sit. Not playing them. Stafford, obviously, again, he's had his moments. Don't get me wrong. I feel like they're just not asking or needing a whole lot of him out of him at this particular moment. And the Titans don't scare me at all. They don't need to. I think they can just run the ball and they're okay. Like the Rams can run, keep it on the ground, get the ball away from the Tennessee Titans, and Tennessee Titans won't have the ability to answer and obviously turn it around. Cam Ward, not great, right? I get it. Rookie, first game, things to happen. But for me, both these quarterbacks are going to sit. Going to the Browns and Ravens, Joe Flacco, I'm going to sit. Right now, I don't see enough out of him that I would be like, oh, you got to put him in your lineup. I do think he's going to have a decent game. Maybe if you're deeper leagues, you may want to put him in there. But again, I'm not putting him in any lineup at this particular moment. And of course, Lamar Jackson, you're going to start. Hands down, no reason otherwise, unless he was hurt, you're not putting him out of your lineup. That is an easy one for you guys. Now, the 49ers versus the Saints. There's a question mark here with Brock Purdy. He was injured. We're not really sure what's going on with him. We got to wait for more news because we have to see what's going to happen with him. But I'm going to sit him just because there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of injuries at the wide receiver position. There's a lot going on with this 49ers offense and defense, and I'm kind of worried. So Purdy, I'm going to sit. And of course, Spencer Rattler sitting. Again, the inexperience. Tough defense for the 49ers to play against. I'm not going to put Rattler in any matchup at this current time. Giants versus Cowboys, getting closer to the afternoon games. Russell Wilson, I'm going to sit. Dallas defense actually had a pretty good defense. They actually did a pretty good job against Jalen Hurts. Yes, he took advantage, of course, on the ground. It's hard to stop a rushing quarterback that has that ability. But overall, Dallas's defense actually did pretty good. So again, Russell Wilson, I'm not putting in there. I'm going to continue to put the start designation on Dak. Better matchup. Dak would have had an even better game had CeeDee Lamb caught a couple of those passes. It just would have been a different turnout had those things happened. So again, I'm not going to put that all in Dak. Yes, Dak could have had a couple more plays here or there, but there was a drop touchdown by Jake Ferguson. Again, overall, I'm going to continue to put Dak in the lineup at this particular time. Now, the Bears and Lions, Caleb Williams I have as a start. I actually really liked him. I like this matchup against the Lions. The Lions defense has some work ahead of them. But for me, Caleb Williams actually looked pretty good. There were moments, I get it, that they didn't pull off the win. Chicago struggled in that. There's definitely some question marks. I think Ben Johnson could have done a little bit better, but I'm not putting it all on Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams still had a really good game in fantasy aspects, so I'm going to put him there. And I actually have Jared Goff as a sit. This is kind of you're probably going to start him, don't get me wrong. But I have some hesitation. I don't feel good about the way this offense is going right now. I do think it's going to take some time for them to adjust with the new OC. So for me, I'm going to sit Jared Goff this week. I think this is actually a matchup where the Chicago Bears actually take advantage of knowing the Lions a little bit, and it might be a little bit tougher. Now the Broncos Colts. I was really high on Bo Nix. I still like Bo Nix, don't get me wrong. I just don't like the matchup right now against the Colts. I'd like to see a little bit more out of the Broncos offense. And of course, Daniel Jones, yes, I know he had an amazing game, but right now that was against the Dolphins who didn't do very well. There's just a lot of issues going on with Miami. So for me, at this moment, unless you're in a super deep league, I am not putting Daniel Jones in there at all. Now the Panthers versus the Cardinals, Bryce Young, I'm going to sit. Again, kind of like I mentioned with Trevor Lawrence, they had great matchups compared, like if you're looking at the 2024, defensive stats. But realistically, it just didn't pan out. Bryce Young just looked rushed. He looked, uneasy in the pocket. There was just a lot of bad throws, very inaccurate. So I'm not going to put him in there. I am going to sit Kyler Murray as well. Again, kind of like I mentioned with the Saints game, they don't necessarily need to put it all on Murray's shoulders. I think they're going to use James Conner. I think they're going to use Trey Benson just to kind of keep the game close. And then again, ending up with a win. So I'm not putting any of those quarterbacks in there. Eagles Chiefs, I'm going to start both quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts obviously is a fantastic fantasy quarterback, however you feel about him in the real world. But in the fantasy aspect, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in fantasy. I continue to push him. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground against Dallas. He can easily get a rushing touchdown in this game. He seems to know the Kansas City's defense. Like, he just has their number. He has always shown up really well. He has performed some amazing games. Talking about the Super Bowl loss and win that they've had against the Chiefs. Absolutely. And of course, Mahomes is an elite talent. He's still going to be someone you want to put him there. I'm not putting him high, though. If you were to talk rankings, Mahomes is not up there. He's going to be low quarterback ranking when it comes to the QB1. But you're still going to put him in there. Do have some concerns, obviously, with Worthy being out. So, again, Hollywood Brown is one of those guys who have to step up. Kelsey's got to step up. Juju Smith-Schuster. So those players have to step up, but I still like, Mahomes. And then the final Sunday game, which is the Sunday night, Falcons versus Vikings. Michael Penix, I'm going to start. I really liked him. He looks really good. I think he could take advantage of this Minnesota defense. I loved what Penix was able to do. There are some concerns, though. Now, say Drake London does not play. Maybe I would change the designation for Penix, but as of right now, I'm still going to put him in there. We'd like to see a little bit more out of Drake London. They are expecting a start for him, but again, injuries could flare up and things like that might happen. JJ McCarthy, on the other hand, I actually liked him a lot. I thought he did really good. He performed really well. He showed up at the end of the game. He did what he needed to do to get that Minnesota Viking win. He had a rushing touchdown, a couple passing touchdowns. He did have an interception. Not a lot of yards, but again, really good, solid performance. I do have him as sit, though. I still want to see a little bit more. I think Falcons defense actually might end up turning around. Like, they've been obviously a defensive struggling team, but I really like what they look like so far in week 1. I would like to obviously put McCarthy as a sit this particular week. Now, the last 2 games are going to be the Monday night games. You got the Bucks versus the Texans. Starting Baker Mayfield. Texas defense obviously is pretty good. I like them a lot, but Baker Mayfield has been fantastic. Igbuka obviously just came in and just dominated first game, which is great. Looked really good. That connection's already starting to develop, which is awesome for Baker Mayfield. Again, you still got Mike Evans. You still got Kate Otten, who obviously disappeared in that game, and of course Bucky Irving in the backfield. So again, Baker Mayfield you're going to put in there. Stroud, on the other hand, I'm sitting. There's a lot of concerns, right? You've got the O-line concerns. The wide receivers aren't, amazing right now. Got a couple injuries. You got rookies in there. You have no threat at the running game with Chubb. I mean, there's just a lot of concerns with the Texans. Not going to put Stroud in this one. And the last Monday night game is going to be the Chargers versus the Raiders. Justin Herbert's going to be a start. I take a lot of blame on last week when I mentioned that he should have sat. And realistically, again, I'm always going off of stats and analytics, and Herbert has struggled against the Chiefs. He has. If you look at his matchups, he does not play them well. And of course, he had an amazing game last Friday. So again, kudos to him. I'm not going to make that mistake against the Raiders. He absolutely is going to start. He can easily put up a nice 250 yards, a couple touchdowns, and again, put up some QB1 numbers. As far as Geno Smith, he did amazing. I was kind of nervous. Wasn't sure what was going to happen with him and the Raiders. Now, there are some concerns with Brock Bowers. We're not sure what's going to happen with the injury. Nothing's been obviously designated yet with him. So missing Bowers is a huge one. But I still think, Geno Smith has deserved that flex start spot in this particular one. So, again, I'm going to put him in there because he did actually play really well. He had over 350 passing yards, so I really liked him there. So, essentially, that's kind of my recap of the matchups. Every single game, who I think should start, who should sit. Again, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. I want to give you some advice as much as I can. I will always try to get to the comments as fast as I can to help you guys out, because again, week 2 is here. Lineups are starting to happen. Your waivers are already happening. You've got to make sure you guys are ready. So again, hit me up in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content and it has been helpful. Hit that like button. Make sure you guys check out all my other Start and Sit videos when those drop, and I'll check you guys out next time.